Hello everybody, welcome to the Sky Diary for June 2021, and despite the fact that we're losing our dark skies this time of the year, there's plenty to see up in the night sky and daytime of course, so I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so here we are. Don't forget, if you find the Sky Diary useful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much, folks. Okay, the Sky Diary is available on TeamUp, so go to star-gazing.co.uk/diary. It's like this. You've got 3 calendars on there now. You've got the blue one, which is all the dates and things that I'm going to show you today. You've also got the red one, which is all space activities and events, so anything that I hear, activities, online events, etc., get put in there as well. And then there's the dark black one, which is space dates, so that's all anniversaries of notable space events that have happened in the past, and thanks to Steve Tonkin and Philip Price, who are helping me keep those up to date. So don't forget, go to the webpage star-gazing.co.uk/diary, download the TeamUp app and install it, and you can carry it around with you, so enjoy. And don't forget, we've got the Virtual Astronomy Club as well, trying to keep astronomy sociable in these very, very challenging times. And it's usually the first and the third Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. British Summer Time. That's 6 p.m. Universal Time. And go to virtual-astro-club.com, and all the details on how to join are there. So everyone's welcome. So come along and join us. Okay, so middle of the month at 10 o'clock in the evening, this is the view looking north. So these are the circumpolar constellations, the ones that never set. Of course, we start off with Ursa Major here and the 7 stars of the Plough in there, or the Big Dipper as the Americans call it. And then next door to that, you've got the Little Bear, Ursa Minor with Polaris, and of course most of the sky goes around a point, or all the sky goes around a point within half a degree of Polaris. So Polaris more or less stays in the same part of the sky the whole time. Meandering between the two, you've got the constellation of Draco coming down to the lozenge asterism in the head of Draco, and then the W or M-shaped Cassiopeia, the Queen, down here, and next door to her, King Cepheus along there as well. And then a little bit fainter and not quite as distinct is Camelopardalis, the giraffe. So see if we can pick out that indistinct constellation between them. So this is the view looking south. These are the stars at their highest at 10 o'clock in the evening Universal Time in the middle of the month. So down here you've got Corvus and Crater just off there as well. You've got Coma Berenices just over here, so this is where all the galaxies are, and Leo just below me there. You've got Virgo down here with the bright star Spica, so lots and lots of galaxy hunting around that area. Bootes, the herdsman with the bright Arcturus at the bottom of the kite-shaped constellation there. Next door to that you've got Corona Borealis, the northern crown. Hercules with the wonderful globular cluster. In fact, it's got 2, so don't forget the other one. And then Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, down here. And then Libra. And then Scorpius with the bright red star Antares, very, very low in the southern sky. So looking west, these are the constellations that are setting at that time of night. So the winter stars are virtually gone now. So Perseus, Auriga, of course the bright star Capella in Auriga is a circumpolar star from my location. And if you've got a very low northern horizon, you can see that the whole year round. But it is very, very low during night time at this time of the year. Of course, you've got Gemini, the twins, just about to disappear, and you've got Mars, which is moving from Gemini into Cancer during the month. A little bit more to say about that later. Then, of course, Virgo and Leo. Of course, Leo, I was surprised the other night when I was out how quickly that gets towards the west and is starting to disappear. And then Coma Berenices, so we've still got lots and lots of nice galaxies to look at and perhaps image when it is dark and clear. So make the most of that area of sky while you can, because it will soon be gone. Okay, looking east, these are the constellations that are rising. So the summer stars are on their way. So here's Draco, which we mentioned earlier, with Ursa Minor just to the side of it, Hercules, Corona Borealis, Ophiuchus, and of course we got Lyra with the bright star Vega shining in there, Cygnus with Deneb, the brightest star in that one, and Aquila with the brightest star Altair, and of course these make up what we call the summer triangle. And of course they are summer stars, but we can see them well into late autumn as well. And the Milky Way runs across here, and of course this time of the year we're not going to see it at its best because the skies don't really get dark. But over the next few months, once it starts to get darker, we should see the Milky Way in more of its glory in darker skies. So let's look at the planets throughout this month. So Mercury, it actually reaches inferior conjunction. It's closest to the Sun on the near side of the Sun on the 11th of June. It's only a few degrees away from the Sun, so I don't recommend you try and get out and view that. So you might be able to see it the first few days of the month in the evening sky just after sunset, but is moving rapidly towards the Sun and will soon be lost in the twilight. So it reaches inferior conjunction on the 11th of June, and then it will start to move away from the Sun and start to be visible very, very low down in the morning sky towards the end of the month. Venus is visible in the western evening sky after sunset. It was very close to Mercury a few days before the end of May. But it's not going to get much higher than it is now, because although it's getting further away from the Sun throughout this time, as it gets further away from the Sun, the angle of the ecliptic is going to get lower in the sky, and so it's not really going to get much better than it is now. So make the most of it while you can. Superior conjunction, that's when it was on the far side of the Sun, was March the 26th. And it's going to take a long time till the 29th of October to reach eastern elongation. So it's going to take quite a while to get there, furthest from the Sun. Mars, visible low in the evening sky in Gemini at the beginning of the month, then moves into Cancer, and I'll talk about that in a little while. Jupiter and Saturn, both low in the morning southern sky, so they are visible in the southeastern sky before dawn. So get up and have a look at those, and there's a couple of things you might want to observe with those. Uranus is now lost in the morning twilight. It's starting to move away from the Sun, but it's going to take a while to become really easily visible. And Neptune as well, that's very low in the morning southeastern sky as well, so it's going to take a little while to be able to observe that properly. Okay, 1st of June, looking east at about 2:30 in the morning universal time. The moon's going to be south of Jupiter. So if we orientate ourselves with some of the constellations here, we've got Jupiter, which is in Aquarius. Jupiter is now getting further and further up the ecliptic, so it's getting higher. So hopefully the images are going to be better as it gets higher in our skies to be away from most of the interfering atmosphere. So I'm looking forward to getting some better images over the next few years. Saturn is in the constellation of Capricornus, and then right over here you got Sagittarius. I'll show you that a bit later. And you got Pegasus. This is the head of Pegasus. Of course, Pegasus is upside down, and this is the square of Pegasus here. And then you got Pisces with the circlet of Pisces, the asterism just showing there. 2nd of June is last quarter moon, so the moon is starting to disappear out of the skies, so we're going to get darker skies. But of course this time of year we really don't get very dark skies, but there's lots to look out for, because one of the things to look out for is the noctilucent cloud. We're now in noctilucent cloud season. Some reporters, Mary McIntyre, reported that she'd managed to see some from Oxfordshire. So these are bluey white clouds that appear to be associated with meteoritic dust, and they form really, really high up in the atmosphere. So what are we looking out for? Well, you can see those from now until late July, August time, and look towards the northwest about an hour after sunset. And if they're very bright, they are really noticeable. You can't miss them. But sometimes they might be just slightly visible, and they will be picked up better with a camera. So if you look northwest about an hour after sunset and the clouds are visible, you will see them there. You won't see them towards the north or the northeast, but after sunset they'll be there. Because the sun is below the horizon in that direction, they are shining from sunlight below the horizon. So they're always above where the sun would be. So you probably wouldn't be surprised that if you went out at midnight, because the sun's moved around, it's still below the horizon, but the clouds will have moved towards the north. So they will gradually move across the sky as the Earth rotates underneath. So around midnight, look towards the north. And then, of course, just before dawn breaks, look towards the northeast, because that's where the clouds would have gradually and slowly moved throughout the night. And as you can see, you might see the Pleiades, the winter constellation, starting to rise as well. But that's towards the northeast. Of course, we just don't know when these are going to occur. And we get very short notice as to when we might see a display. And the only chance of seeing some is to get out and have a look for them. And of course, this was last year when Comet Neowise was in the sky. This is the 10th to 11th of July, and in the early hours of morning when we were out there taking pictures of this wonderful comet, these noctilucent clouds suddenly appeared. So just get out and keep looking and see if you can see them. The 10th of June is the new moon, so this is when the moon's going to be well out of the way, so best chance of seeing noctilucent clouds throughout the whole night. There is a partial solar eclipse, and that is visible from the UK. And here's the maximum eclipse as seen from my location. Sun here, and you can see this big chunk has been taken out. And that maximum eclipse is about 10:13 in the morning. Okay, so your time may vary depending on where you are in the UK. So if you're further east or west from my location, you will see it earlier or slightly later, so look out for that. But maximum eclipse is about 10:13, so have a look at that out around about from about 9 o'clock in the morning universal time, so that's 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so make sure you get out there and have a look. And of course, if you're further south in the UK, there'll be less of the sun will be obstructed by the moon, but if you're up in Scotland, you'll have a bit of a bigger chunk taken out of the moon. So it will vary depending on where you're located in the UK. 11th of June, the day after, Mercury reaches inferior conjunctions, just about 3 degrees away from the sun. So don't try and find it because it's going to be quite difficult. So I'm not going to recommend anybody go out and try and find it that close to the sun. 12th of June, look towards the west in the evening, about 9 o'clock universal time, and you should be able to see a very thin crescent moon close to Venus. Of course, that's Venus there. You shouldn't be able to miss Venus. Extremely bright star, but this beautiful thin crescent moon should be there, showing some really nice earth shine, especially as the sky gets a bit darker. But it will start to get lower as it gets darker. But the next morning on the 13th, again, Venus is here. The moon's moved it a little bit further away from it, and you can see the angle of the ecliptic is now getting less as the months progress. But because it's a bit higher, you should be able to see it into a much darker sky, and that earth shine, the light reflecting off the earth, should make the dark side of that moon show up really, really nicely and be able to see it really well. Okay, 15th of June, look towards the west at about 10 o'clock in the evening. And the moon passes north of Regulus in Leo, so we've still got Mars visible. So Mars is quite low down here, and it's moved into Cancer by this time from Gemini, and is Leo. So this is the sickle of Leo, the backward question mark here, and of course there's Regulus, the bright first magnitude star, and the moon is just above that star there, and then Virgo just over here. On the 17th of June, the lunar X is going to be visible, but that's around about midday. This is a clair obscure effect. And the best time, as I said, is about midday universal time. But at that time, the moon's going to be really low down in the eastern sky, and it's going to be daylight. So you will need a telescope and be able to pick that out really, really nicely. And this is formed by the shadows and the sunlight hitting the ramparts of the craters Blancanus, Lecaire and Purbach. And all the times I'm giving you are from Mary McIntyre's astronomy blog. So go there and you can see more details of other Lunar X visibilities later in the year. This is what the Lunar X looks like. So here's the X and here's the 3 craters that make up it. You can't see Purbeck at all you can see is this rim here, and you can see how that X forms really, really nicely. And about the same time, you've got the Lunar V in the southern part of Mare and they're close to Rima Hyginus. Here's their Rima over here, and you've got these other craters around as well. So there's the V, but these features only last for about an hour either side of that midday, so you need to get out about 11 o'clock. But as I say, the moon's going to be fairly low down in the eastern sky at that time, so around 1 o'clock I think it'll be a little bit higher and a little bit easier to see. Okay, 18th of June, the moon's back at first quarter, so lovely half moon. And then the 19th of June, it's moved around a bit, become a gibbous phase, and it's passing north of the star Spica in Virgo. So here's the tail end of Leo with Denebula here. Here's Virgo and the bright first magnitude star Spica. And of course, we've got Libra and we've got Scorpius over here as well, with the bright red star Antares. 20th of June is International Sunday. Watch out for solar events on the day. The Virtual Astronomy Club, Stargazers Lounge and Go Stargazing are going to be doing a number of events during the day, so keep an eye on the Sky Diary for that event and links on how to join in. Okay, 21st is the longest period of daylight. It's the summer solstice. The sun reaches its highest in the northern hemisphere. And if you haven't seen the solar can, this is what a solar can looks like. It's basically a pinhole camera. So underneath this tab, there is a little hole in the can. And on the back of the can, there's a sheet of film, photographic film on the back. So as the sun moves across the sky, it records on the photographic film. This is one I did last year. So this is showing 21st of December and the 21st of June, as you can see here. So this is trail on the 21st of December, and this is the track around about midsummer. And you can see that because I didn't tilt my can enough, I've missed the top of this curve, which is a bit of a shame. So I've got another one out there at the moment, which I've tilted up a little bit more, so that hopefully when I take that down this June, I'll get the top of that as well as the bottom as well. And the other experiment I've been trying is to take a picture of what we call the analemma. So here it is here. So you can see what I've tried to do. I've tried to take a picture of the sun at the same time over a period of a year. So I started down here when it was the winter solstice, and I worked my way up, and you can see as you superimpose the images, it traces, there's a big gap here for when it was cloudy, it traces a long figure of 8, and you can see that working its way around there, and you see the number of days that I didn't actually capture because of clouds. So I started on the 23rd of December, and February and March there was a big gap here. September and October there was also a big gap, and I did try and do February, March again, but again we had cloud and rain and I couldn't fill that gap in this year. So this is a long project, so I'm going to have to try and get September and October down here, and then February and March to fill in that gap again at some point. Okay, so will this ever get finished? Who knows? We'll see. It's whether my patience runs out more than anything else. Okay, and then what I've done, just to show you, most people would have put this above Stonehenge, but of course I've put the actual view I get out of the window that I took the analemma, and you can see it superimposed quite nicely on an image of the sky, and the view out of the window that I took the images. Okay, getting towards the end of the month now, the 22nd of June, look in the southern sky, about 2300 universal time. The moon is passing north of Antares in Scorpius. So there's Scorpius and the bright red giant star Antares. And then Sagittarius, the teapot. Of course, here's the lid, here's the handle, Here's the body of the teapot, and here's the spout. And of course, if we get really dark skies, you see the Milky Way coming out of there, which is the steam coming out of the teapot. And then Libra here as well. And then the Fucus, the serpent bearer, there. 23rd of June in the western evening sky at about 9:45 universal time, Mars is nestled within the Beehive cluster. The trouble is it's really, really low. So just as the sky gets dark enough to see Mars and start to see the stars of the cluster, it's almost setting. So you do need a good western horizon to be able to see that. So there's Cancer, there's Messier 44, and of course Mars is nestled right in there. And if we have a little bit of a closer look, you can see it's well in that cluster. So could be a good photographic opportunity if we get clear skies and you've got a low enough horizon to get that in the murk that low. Okay, 24th of June, we got the full moon, so we're back to bright moon, blotting out most of the deep sky objects, but we're now past the solstice, so the nights should be getting longer. So all of us astronomers will be cheering, but most of the population will be starting to boo. Okay, 27th of June, southern morning sky. Looking south, you've got the 3 planets. You've got Sagittarius over here, just starting to set. Capricornus here, Aquarius, and of course you've got Jupiter and Saturn. You shouldn't be able to miss those because they will be the brightest object shining in the sky. And the gibbous moon will be just below Saturn that particular night. So 27th and 28th of June, we've got a very interesting event. We've got a star that goes behind Saturn. So Saturn moves in front of this 10th magnitude star. So if you've got a small telescope, you should be able to see this. This is the view at a little after midnight, but it actually starts at 23:30 universal time. And it finishes about 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's the view of the star just starting to disappear behind Saturn. And at 2:29 universal time, we should be able to see the star appear between Saturn's globe and its rings. And then, of course, as Saturn moves in that direction, the star will move through the ring. So that could be quite interesting to watch, see if there's any changes in the variation of brightness of that star as it goes through the rings. The only trouble is the sky is getting brighter, and so by the time the star comes out from behind the rings, it's going to be a really bright sky. So I don't think we're going to see it this best, but give it a go and see if you can detect that star traveling in between the rings and the disk before the sky gets too bright. 29th of June, southeastern sky, about 1:45 in the morning. The moon's moved over from over here to over here, so it's below Saturn, of course, Capricornus, Aquarius, Jupiter, and Saturn. And then, of course, we've got Pisces over here, and obviously I'll talk about that a bit more, perhaps in July or August. Okay, we've got 2 comets visible during the month, or bright ones, I should say. We've got Comet Atlas C2020R4. I've missed the 0 off there by the looks of it. And this is the path of the comet during this month, and that's showing at 2-day intervals. So this is the body of Leo here. So Denebola is off the bottom, and up towards top right is the sickle of Leo. And here are the 3 Messier galaxies down here. And of course, just below Chertan star down here is the Leo triplet, but that's just off the field of view. So this is the path of the comet going into the body. So that's where the comet is on the 1st of June, and by the 15th of June it reaches there, and then the 30th of June it reaches there. And you can see that the distance between the 1st of June and the 15th of June is much longer than the 15th of June to the 30th of June. And the reason for that is because it's starting to slow down. It was at its closest to the Earth on the 23rd of April, so that's when it was moving at its fastest, and I could only do 30-second exposures on it because it was moving so fast at that particular moment. It's about 8th magnitude, so it's not too bad, easily visible in a small telescope, so you should be able to pick it out. And here's an image that I took on the 5th of May, and you can see it shows a nice coma around there and a bit of a tail as well. And you can see just how rapidly it's moving in the time that I took the images that comprise the image. The other comet is C2021A1 Leonard, and I have got another video about this one, so I'm not going to go into too much detail apart from to show you the track between Bootes, Canes Venatici and Ursa Major here. And of course you've got Dubhe and Merak, the two pointer stars in the Plough. And this is where the comet's been: January, February, March, April, May. So this is where it starts its journey on the 1st of June. So this is Dubhe and Merak, the pointers. So it's just to the right of that. And there it is, July, and then so on throughout the year. But we're just interested in the bit over here that's going to be during July, or June, sorry. So we're interested in the bit here from June up to July. And here it is, it's shown at 1 day intervals. Here's Dubhe and Merak, of course, the pointers, and this is the path. And as we zoom into that, you can see 1st of June, 15th of June, and the 30th of June. And you might just be able to see that is a little bit further than the 1st of June. So it is starting to speed up as it comes further into the solar system, closer to the sun and closer to Earth. Its apparent motion should speed up very gradually. It is about 16th or 17th of magnitude, so it's a bit of a challenge. I went out there a little while ago and I managed to get an image of where the comet was, and got a few little fuzzies here, but the comet's not very distinct at all. But this is the comet, so it's about 16th, 17th magnitude, and these little faint fuzzy galaxies, and there's another one over here. Okay, so there it is. It's got a long way to go before it gives us a good show, but yeah, it's got time, and it's going to warm up and hopefully get more active as time goes by. Okay, don't forget, all these dates are available on my Sky Diary from star-gazing.co.uk/diary. There it is. I'm not going to explain again, so just go to the website, download the Team Up app, and you can carry the calendar around with you. Don't forget, everyone's welcome to come along to the Virtual Astronomy Club. We're keeping astronomy sociable, the 1st and the 3rd Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. and at 6 p.m. Universal Time. So go to virtual-astro-club.com. Hopefully see you then. Don't forget, if you found this useful, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. So, okay folks, take care and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.